Hi everybody, welcome back. On one of my previous videos, a couple of them actually, we tried something called minimalist solo role-playing, where I took the minimum number of generative, limiting, and um, rubric sources as I could, and that ended up being 3 books. One of the options I brought up in one of my more rambling parts of the video was this book here, Micro Chapbook RPG, and I thought we would give that a play today. Let's see how it works. I haven't fully played it before. I've used it for sort of my own minimalist RPG hack, just for playing around when I've got some extra time, but I haven't actually played by the rules yet. And I thought that might be kind of cool to do on camera. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a character, and then we are going to learn how to play this game together. All right, first things first, we should make our character. There are only 4 primary stats in this. We have our strength, our dexterity, our wits, and our charisma. And each of these has a different use. We use our strength for melee attacks and breaking down doors. Dexterity is used for ranged attacks and avoiding some traps. Wits is used for disarming traps and picking locks. Charisma is used for increasing our willpower and showing our bravery. So during character creation, we are granted 7 points to assign between the 4 stats as we see fit. No stat can have a score lower than 1 or higher than 4 during this step, but these may be altered later on. And I was reading a little bit ahead. Our race choice actually does modify our primary stats. So before I assign, you know what? I'm just going to assign them. So I'm looking at the 4 classes as well. We've got Fighter, Ranger, Wizard, and Bard. And as far as I can tell, there's no spells in this book, but they did release some expansions. So I would not like to be a wizard. I'm thinking I kind of, for safety reasons, would like to be a fighter. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and write fighter by class. See my lovely handwriting. And you know what? Let's go pretty basic. My race is going to be human. Okay, so we have a human fighter. Humans get a +1 to their strength, so that should help us being a fighter. 7 points. So if we go 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we can add something to charisma. It's going to give us a bonus here, so this is going to end up being 4. Because we're going to put 3 here, and it's +1 for being human. Then let's see, our dexterity. What does I do? Used for ranged attacks and avoiding traps. That seems like a good idea. So let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go pretty basic here. Let's go 2, 1, 1. And there's our base stats. Let's see, health and willpower, that's our next section here, as illustrated. Our health and willpower are determined by our current stats. Health is the total sum of our strength and dexterity plus 20. So that's going to be 26 from the look of it. That's pretty good. And then we have willpower, which is our wits and charisma plus 20. That's a 22. It still sounds pretty good, but I guarantee that's probably going to bite us. Okay. Weapons. Okay, so in order to buy our equipment, we're going to roll our 2d6, and that's our starting gold. So we've got... Wow, we have 4 gold. Amazing. So we can probably afford Oh man, I don't think we're going to be able to afford any armor, but I would like to use it on a decent weapon. So what's 4 gold? I can get a warhammer for 4 gold. And a scythe. That's about the same. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a scythe is 5 gold. This double this double column thing threw me off. A scythe is 5 gold. We can get a spear for 4 gold. We can get a hand axe. And let's see. Is there like a shield? How much is a shield? Okay, that's 1 gold. Okay, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a hand axe and a shield for weapons and armor. Hand axe. And a hand axe does 1d3 plus 1 damage. Okay, and then the shield gives us plus 3 health. So we have 29 health because of that. And that's our character. So I'm going to zoom us back out. We will name this guy, but I'm gonna zoom back out and we can actually go into the dungeon now. Okay, we're back. I've named my character Joffrey the human fighter, and we're ready to get started dungeon crawling. So here we have generating rooms. Let's see, to generate a room. Generate the first room in the dungeon. So this is the dungeon entrance that we're going to be generating. To generate a room, roll 2d6. The number rolled in the number of squares in the room is the number of squares in the room. This can be drawn in any way, shape, or form as long as they are orthogonically connected. That's a word that I don't know the definition of. Next, roll a d3. This is the number of new doors added to the room. In addition to any door you just used, draw small rectangles to represent the doors along any single square's edge to designate an exit. So we choose where the doors are. Each time you move through a door, you will generate a new room in this manner. The dungeon entrance doesn't contain monsters. In the following example, we're not going to read the example right now. We're going to generate our first room. So our first room has 8 squares. Okay, so Joffrey begins in a room with 8 squares. And I think it might be kind of cool to make a room shaped like, there's 6, 7, 8. Cool. I don't know. It seemed cool to me. So now we get to roll the number of doors in this room. We'll say that we actually came in here. That's our entrance. And we have D3 doors in this room. We got 3 doors. Let's put 1 here. 1 here. And we will make it pretty reasonable. So there's our 3 doors. And we have Joffrey the fighter. He's just entered the dungeon. Cool. So we don't have any monsters in this room, so we're going to pick a door, generate another room, and there might be monsters in it. So Joffrey's going to choose by D3, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 3. He's going through here. So now we generate another room. I don't even have to look at that. It's pretty easy, actually. This room has 6 squares in it. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty easy. Number of doors in this room? One. There's one other door, including the one we just came in. That actually answers a question we had on the Horrible 4 game. Okay, we got a door there. Now, how do we check to see if there's monsters in here? Okay. Oh, we mark our first room with an E to show that's the entrance and exit. Okay. Okay. When you leave the dungeon entrance or any room in the dungeon, once it has been cleared of monsters, you'll choose one door in the room to move through. Before moving through, however, you have to make a door roll and roll 1d6 on the door chart provided in the scenario. Sometimes doors will add new door results, but there are 4 absolute basic door options that can occur. It's either unlocked, stuck, locked, or trapped. I'm not seeing door options that we roll on. I guess it's based on the scenario. Okay. Anyway, let's see, room types. Each newly generated room you enter also has a different room type that will make it slightly different from the others. Upon entering a room, roll 1d6 on the scenario's room type chart. Each type will have a lettered code. You know what? I bet you these are later on here. This is Tomb of the Necrolord. Oh, there we go. There's the tomb doorways, tomb room types. Okay, cool. So that doorway, we're not going to count it, but it says that was unlocked. We can move through freely. So we can move into this room. This room type, 2. This is wet stone. So this is room type 2. Let's see what happens. This room is damp and the stone floor is wet and slippery. +1 on all DE rolls. By the way, when you're rolling dice, you want to roll under your stats. So my wits and charisma rolls are abysmal because we have to roll a 1. Whereas we have quite a bit of leeway on strength, and dexterity is not so great. But that's the idea. So we actually have a +1 on our die roll when we try to roll for dexterity. So that's not good. So do we always roll for monsters in a room? Let's check it out. Monsters. Every room has monsters. Okay. After entering any room and determining its type, roll 1d6 on the scenario's monster chart and generate the monsters in the room. Roll once to determine the monster type. Roll a second time to determine the number of that monster that appears in each room. Each monster has a max number that can appear in a room. Even if you roll higher, only the max number will appear. Okay. No more can appear than the number of squares in a room. Okay. So we have some monsters here. So I guess we're running the Tomb of the Necrolord. So I guess these different books have different... This is the only chapbook that I have. So I guess different ones have different sets of monsters. So if you want more monsters, you can buy some more books. So we're going to get 4. A deformed servant. And the max is 2. Okay, so there's 2 deformed servants in here. Let's get some deformed servants on the board. Okay, Joffrey's run into 2 deformed servants, and I've just read combat procedure. And we're in trouble because I've got really terrible charisma. And the first step of combat, which activates as soon as we run into monsters, so we're automatically in combat. So how that works is we need to make a charisma check. If we pass, we gain a willpower. If we fail, which we likely will, we are going to instead lose willpower equal to this monster's, what is it? Will damage. We have to roll the die to see how much. So a deformed servant has 1d3 plus 1 will damage. Let's see how brave we are. Not brave enough. So we're really good at melee, but we're really cowardly. So is it both monsters or just one? Let's do one. D3 plus 1, we lose 2 willpower, so we're at 20. Okay, so now, and is that every round that happens? All three, start over from the top and repeat them all. Do this until the monsters are defeated, you are killed, or you've elected to run away. Wow, okay, so next, we don't have any ranged attacks, so we're going to do a melee attack. It doesn't say we have to move to be in range or anything. There's no like movement or anything like that. I must now make a melee attack. So I have to roll below a 4. And if I succeed, I am going to deal D3 plus 1 damage to them. So here we go. Okay, that's a success. We are going to do D3 plus 1 to one of these deformed servants. And a deformed servant has 12 life force spent, so we ran into something kind of tanky. Okay, so we did 3, so that's 2 plus 1. So let's get our pad here so that we can keep track of this stuff. So, a deformed servant, 12 and 12. We attacked one of them, dealing 3, so it's down to 9. So now these guys are going to attack us, I think, right? And they're... doesn't say what they roll. Do they automatically do... or do we do a... hang on, I got to check something real quick. The monsters only deal damage to us if we fail a roll. So we're going to start over from the top. We're going to check our bravery. Hey, we passed our bravery. Nice. Okay, Joffrey is also, he's going to attack again. Please don't fail. That is 4. Okay, I think that's a success. D3 plus 1. Deals 2 damage to the same one. Taking him down to 7. And we go again. Bravery. He fails, taking D3 plus 1 willpower damage. See, it's pretty simple. Okay, so we've just taken... that's 2, because that's 1 plus 2, or 1 plus 1. And we're down to 18. I can do math. Okay. Melee attack from Joffrey. Oh, he fails. That means they get to attack us. Is it one or both? I believe it's both. That kind of sucks. If you fail, one monster in the room deals damage to me. Okay, so how much damage does a deformed servant do? Weapon damage, or sorry, health damage. D3 plus 1, same as well. Okay, does 2 damage to us. So we're down to 27 health. We're doing good in that department. So this is all fairly simple. I actually kind of like how rooms are generated like this. I didn't suspect it would be that fun. Okay. For some reason I like the idea of just rolling and just you put these different blocks together, but it's kind of cool being able to design it on my own. Bravery. That's a 3. We failed the bravery, so they deal... ooh, that's 3. We are losing courage very quickly. Let's do a melee attack. That's a 3 out of 4, so that's a success. We're going to deal D3 plus 1. That is 3 damage to one of these guys. Going down to 4. Okay, start from the top. Test bravery. We're just gonna go insane before we manage to actually kill anything. Yeah. Okay. It's D3 plus 1. That's 2. Lost sanity. We're at 13 out of 22 sanity already. That's not good. Okay. We're just gonna die in this room immediately. Okay, melee. That's a 2. We succeeded. And that is that's 3 damage again. This guy's at 1. I've half in mind to skip through a lot of this combat because I'm kind of excited to show you more, and I don't want to waste time. This combat is very, very simple. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit. It's fast. It's very conducive to a solo game. So there's not a whole lot of other rules like armor class or anything like that. We'll do one more attack. I just did damage, so bravery failed. D3 plus 1. Oh man, that's 4. We're at 9. We're at 9 willpower. So I'll be back in. While Joffrey was able to defeat the monsters in the room, his willpower quickly drained to 0, and what that means is that he is now hopeless. Joffrey has lost faith that his quest can succeed. Now, this doesn't mean that we lose, but instead what this means is that all of our rolls are at a +1, which means that would be like a -1 if we're using a rollover D20 system. Now, it says that a natural roll of 1 on a D6 will still always succeed, but we are now operating, it's sort of like an uphill battle for Joffrey right now. So we're going to continue the quest. I'm going to generate another room. Let's see what kind of door we've come into here. We'll see if it's locked or trapped or anything like that. So let's generate that door. Joffrey now is sort of he's just very fearful. He's clutching his hand axe and his shield close, and he seeks not just to complete his quest. I think right now he's seeking just kind of to survive. I'm sure there's some kind of pressure that's stopping him from leaving the dungeon. Really, it's just me refusing to not play the game. So here we go. What kind of door do we have? That's a 4. The door is stuck, so we need to do a strength check. We're adding 1. Luckily, I forgot to mention, since we're a fighter, we actually roll 2 dice, and we take the better roll, in this case, the lower roll. So we have, like, advantage if you play 5e. So here we go. Nice, nat 1. He finds the door is shut, and he just kicks it open. So we're going to generate a new room here. This room has 8 squares. So let's go like, let's make it look kind of weird. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 right there. It's like this weird looking room like that. So he kicks the door in. Kind of a mixture of he's like high on the adrenaline. He's afraid for his life, and for some reason he can't go back. So in this room we have 2 doors, and I'm going to decide that one of them is right here, just to his left, and the other one is going to be right here around that corner, because that seems pretty rational. So every room has monsters, so we're going to roll for more monsters now. And let's see, D6 roll. Oh, sorry, hang on. We have to determine what kind of room this is. Okay, so this kind of room, on a 3, low ceiling. That's LS, low ceiling. And that means we have +1 on all strength rolls. Stop tanking my strength rolls, game. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe just because we're kind of crouching at the same time as fighting or doing anything else, so it's sapping our energy. So now we'll generate the type of monster in here. And we've got 4 more deformed servants. Well, there can only be 2, but a roll is 6. Thank heavens we didn't roll anything else other than that. So we have our 2 deformed servants. They're back. What, Joffrey? You thought you were done? The living dead are never done. Heaven's sakes. Poor guy. Well, we are immediately in combat. Although it might be kind of fun to try to flee. Yeah, I don't really want to die yet. So how does fleeing work? Let's check that out. Running away. After all steps of combat, I can elect to run away by making a bravery check. That's not going to happen. Okay, so first let's check for his bravery. He'll move into the room. Whoa, hitting the camera. Check for bravery. 2, 3, because +1, because we're hopeless. So no, he's failed that. We can't take any more damage. You may as well not check for bravery anymore. No. We can still do that, because if we gain bravery if we succeed. So now we'll do melee attack. Advantage, but +2, because the room, and also he's hopeless. That's a fail. That's a success. That's a 4. Man, that's a really this is really a drag here. D3 +1. Nice. So he's just dealt 4 damage to one of these guys. Again, they have 12. So he's down to 8. Yeah, let's try fleeing. He flees on a 1. If we fail, one of the monsters attacks us. Ooh, that's a 1. We flee. We're going back into this room. We're fleeing this way. As far as I know, monsters don't chase you, so those 2 deformed servants are going to stay there. We have to roll if we backtrack. I think it was on a 6. More monsters have come in here. Backtracking. 1d6 on a 6. New monsters appear. I also forgot to do a treasure roll the last time, so that's what we'll do first of all, because he came back in here and he says, oh, yeah, I forgot to loot the bodies. Roll 1d6. If I get 1 through 5, he earns that much gold. Add it to the gold. If I roll a 6, roll in the items chart. Let's check that out. That's a 1. We have 1 gold. Sweet. Well, they're the undead. I don't imagine they'd be carrying anything too crazy. But we did backtrack in here. Oh, look. More monsters. Ooh, this is bad. This went bad so fast. What's here in the wet room? 2 crawling hands. And how many of them are there? There's 4 of them. There's 4 crawling hands. They have a lot. They do D3 will damage. Okay, crawling hands. I don't have any miniatures for crawling hands, so we will use... I don't know why I'm not using these anyway. Probably should be. It's a lot easier to do that. So 3 crawling hands have entered the room, probably under the door, and they're very, very freaky. So we're gonna... Not in here, sorry. In here. There we go. And so now we're going to redo our bravery check, and it's time for some more combat. Well, of course, we failed the bravery check. But luckily, we have a pretty cool melee. It's only +1 now, because it's not a low ceiling in here. That's a success. D3 +1. That's 3 damage to one of these. How much life force does a crawling hand have? 7. 7 life force. There's 3 of these guys. This is a this is wrote on my boogie board with a with a expo marker. So there's 3 of these guys, each with 7 life. Wow, what did we just do? 3. This game's a grinder. Let me tell you, it's very combat heavy. I kind of dig it. Like if you're into sort of like a kind of a grindy, old school type thing. Okay, here we go. Bravery. Of course, that's a fail. Melee. That's a success, no matter which die you choose. And we deal 2. Same guy. He's got 2 left. I'm going to pause, and I'm going to go through this combat, and I'll see if we just... Okay, so Joffrey has managed to kill the crawling hands with great effort. He was not rolling too well on damage. He only managed to get hit once. At one point, he regained some willpower and then immediately lost it again. So that kind of sucks. So let's roll to see what our treasure is. That's a 2. We get 2 more gold. So we're at 3. And we're going to backtrack into this main room again. Sure, I think monsters can wander into the entrance. Oh my word. We got more monsters. We got, it's a 1. What's 1 on the monsters? A cannibal rat. How many are there? There's 2. 2 cannibal rats. Well, I do have rat miniatures. So let's get a couple of those. We've got 2 cannibal rats. And they are intent on cannibalizing Joffrey. Well, once again, we're in combat, so let's fail bravery. Yeah, we failed our bravery. And we actually failed our melee, so the rats deal... Oh, they only do 1 damage. And they only have 2 life force, thank goodness. So this shouldn't be too hard. I say that, but watch, Joffrey's going to die to rats. All right, bravery. Oh, my word, he gains 2 bravery. That's pretty sweet. So that means he's not working at a +1 right now. Sweet. Okay, that was almost a failure. So he succeeds there, does 3-4 damage and immediately kills a rat. Check bravery again. Fail. We're back down to how much will damage do they do? Only 1? No, we're not totally discouraged yet. We have 1 of 2. Succeed, and we kill another rat. Actually, I don't think we can not kill a rat because at the minimum we do 2 damage, D3 + 1. So, okay, we've cleared the room again. Treasure 6. Oh, we get 2 gold. Okay, so we have a total of 5 gold. Pretty sure. Man, so this is kind of fun. I'm really enjoying this. I would go all the way to the end, which I think it will. But this, you have a basic idea of what micro chapbook RPG is all about. So you bop around from room to room until you die or you find the boss monster and you kill it. It's a lot simpler than 4 Against Darkness. I really like how the rooms are generated. The combat's very, very swift, very easy to keep track of. Next time, I think I'm going to try out a bard because operating at +1 at everything is kind of crummy. So the next time I record, we're going to be doing our October special. We're going to be doing Alone Against Fear, which is a fascinating solo RPG where you take control of a single character, much like this, but you pit yourself against a Silent Hill-like city of horrors. And throughout October, we're going to try to close at least 1 Hellgate. You're supposed to be able to close 7 of them, so if you start a game of Alone Against Fear, you're going to be starting an entire campaign. It's not a short game. Micro Chapbook RPG, you could probably do this in an evening, which is great. But if you want to do a personal campaign with predetermined goals, Alone Against Fear. I am excited to do that. I hope you're as excited as I am. Thanks for playing, and I'm very sorry if you were disappointed that I didn't finish the dungeon. But it would be a lot of me not doing a whole lot of narrative stuff, and it would be a whole lot of me just sitting and rolling dice. That's the drawback to Micro Chapbook RPG. You get the gameplay, you don't get a lot of the story and theming that we were able to do with the other versions. Even with the minimalist RPG I did with White Box and those 2 other books, we still managed to construct an interesting narrative about a missing girl and haunted hanging cages with mummies in them and things like that. Whereas this is like Joffrey, the guy with an axe, runs into a dungeon and immediately gets scared. I'm sure there are ways to add a whole lot more to this if you wanted. There's an entire book based on just like dungeon theming. I think it's called the Tome of Dungeon Design. I don't know. I can't remember. But if you paired that with this, you could create something very, very interesting. And monsters here are exceedingly easy. Their stat blocks they're actually smaller than a character's. So yeah, it might be interesting to kind of come up with my own monsters and see what I can do coming up with my own dungeon just using this book. Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the Dark City next time, where we join our main character, Ivan Black, in his journey through Alone Against Fear. We'll see you next time.